Alright, we're running. We're live.
Go. Do it. What the hell? Is the mixer not working? Well, while you fix that. Anyway, we are live. This is straight... I can't even talk. Straight out of Austin. A little bit of a rough start as we're dealing with some technical issues. But I believe we are up and running. This is Prometheus.
This is Agamemnon.
And this is episode 91. 9 away from 100. Coming hot off of Wizard World Austin 2013. You know, we enjoyed maybe some total of about 6 hours of it, but very fun 6 hours, I have to admit. A very fun 6 hours.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you know, but we'll get into Wizard World a little bit later. We're going to be joined by a guest here. Was it Desmond Robinson?
Yeah. Here we have joining us today is Desmond Sir Hero Robinson.
Has he been knighted?
He has been knighted, I believe.
I think I have been knighted.
Oh, yeah? Well,
yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, sir. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm born and raised from Los Angeles, California. Been blogging for about 4 years.
Okay.
Got into it when IGN started that MyGN thing. I have my own website called Nerds Against the World and podcast of the same name. I'm just a fellow comic book fan in terms of movies, comic books, cartoons. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I love rock. I also love rock music more than rap.
Nice.
Which is odd for a person who lives in Compton, California, who prefers rock than rap.
Do they have any good rock groups coming out of Compton?
No.
Just straight up, no.
Just straight up, no, because
metal bands.
you mainly hear. I know Kendrick Lamar, who's from Compton. You mainly hear him. So, if there is any out there, I'll definitely pick it up and listen because I love to hear some more Compton rock artists come out of here.
Nice. Yeah, I'm sure they would have a very unique sound, you know, coming from that.
Yeah.
To our first topic, this is a spoiler. Well, I mean, it's Family Guy. I don't know how much you can really have a spoiler with Family Guy, but so for those of you that are worried about Family Guy spoilers, tune out for at least the next 10 minutes. Those of you that are brave enough to endure, Family Guy has killed off an important character, Brian, the talking dog.
Yeah, I just found out about this a little while ago. The guy we run through with Four Eyed Radio Network, which our podcast is featured on, he had posted on Facebook. Stephen Mooney had posted that his favorite character, Brian, died. And, you know, at one point, Brian was my favorite character. But after a while, he got really annoying. And there was one episode in particular where Quagmire pretty much calls him out on his shit. And I haven't been a fan of Family Guy that much since they brought it back, so I just watch it really sparingly, here and there. But when I saw that episode, Quagmire just starts talking about all the things that are wrong with Brian. I was like, yes. I could never describe it, but when he said all that, I was like, yes, thank you.
But that was funny. But somebody needs to call out on Quagmire shit, though.
Yeah, that's true. But I just feel like Quagmire is a much more honest character. He's very comfortable with who he is, and Brian's just very pretentious. He tries to act smarter than he really is. You know, he's got a lot of faults, but he tries to kind of brush them away under the rug. Whereas Quagmire, he's just out there, you know, and just giggity goos all over the fucking place.
He wears his He wears all of his negative
Free
stuff on his sleeve. Like the first time you're introduced to Quagmire, you know what a terrible person he is. You know.
Yeah. And he doesn't shy away from it. So even if you hate him, it's like, well, you got to respect that because the dude is who he is.
Yeah. But I don't think Brian's gonna stay dead for long.
Nah, probably not. They'll probably bring him back in some kind of weird comic book way.
Yeah.
Because
Dead
I
as
know
Mormons.
me and my brother, my brothers actually, we all follow Family Guy, and we saw an episode list in 2014. It says Brian gets a new girlfriend.
Oh, okay. I see.
So I'm assuming in some point of time between now and then, Stewie's gonna probably use the time machine again to bring Brian back.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
That's my hypothesis.
Yeah. Yeah, because they pretty much can't live without each other.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
I don't know if you want to play the clip.
Yeah, yeah.
in the
I was actually playing the
section.
clip just for Steven, if he's listening, or when he goes through and or when Eric edits the process.
I don't know, yeah. You want to maybe just go? Quagmire, come on, I'm really trying hard here.
Who asked you to try hard?
Nobody, but all I'm trying to establish you, and you still don't like me. How can you not like me?
Okay, I'll tell you. You are the worst person I know. You constantly hit on your best friend's wife. The man pays for your food and rescued you from certain death, and this is how you repay him? And to add insult to injury, you defecate all over his yard. And you're such a sponge. You pay for nothing. You always say, ooh, I'll get you later, but later never comes. And what really bothers me is you pretend you're this deep guy who loves women for their souls when all you do is date bimbos. Yeah, I date women for their bodies, but at least I'm honest. This is crushing the underclass, how homelessness is the biggest... Brian, never seen you down there. You want to help? Grab a ladle. And by the way, driving a Prius doesn't make you Jesus Christ. Oh, wait, you don't believe in Jesus Christ, or any religion for that matter, because religion is for idiots. Well, who the hell are you to talk down to anyone? You failed college twice, which isn't nearly as bad as your failure as a father. How's that son of yours you never see? But you know what? I could forgive all of that, all of it, if you weren't such a bore. That's the worst of it, Brian. I'll see you, Brian. Thanks for the steak.
Oh, that is the humongous burn of all burns.
It is. It really is, man.
It's just funny because I never really disliked Brian. Well, maybe some of the more later episodes where Family Guy in general just became really preachy, and Brian kind of became like the mouthpiece for Seth MacFarlane. You know, it seemed like it was more subtle in the earlier episodes, and then it's like all the episodes tried to have like a lesson, and it's kind of interesting with that clip because it almost feels like Seth MacFarlane is actually like talking shit about himself because that's kind of what he does with the show at points, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's almost like just self-reflective, kind of like with South Park how they do sometimes.
Huh, I didn't really think about that. The fact that Seth MacFarlane is actually taking a jab at himself. I never really thought about it like that.
Because he's literally talking to himself because he voices Quagmire and Brian.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, a dialogue between himself.
Well, because I think mainly like with the part where he like rips on Brian for not believing in God, which, you know, Seth MacFarlane, that's like a big thing that he always has, like through Brian, you know, and always making, you know, religious people being stupid. So that's the thing that kind of cued me, where it's like maybe he's kind of like, you know, being critical of himself as well.
Right. Huh.
So, I don't know. Like break Brian down, it would be Quagmire.
Yeah.
Like the last person you would expect to say anything intelligent at all.
I think that's why I find it so funny, because it would be weird if it was Peter, because Peter's just stupid.
Yeah.
And then Joe never seemed to care.
Uh-huh.
And then Cleveland's pretty much doing his own thing, I think, at that point
He's in
in the
his own
series.
show now.
So Quagmire's pretty much all that's left, and like Lois kind of has this on again, off again with Brian. Like, you know, he's family, but they've had their little quirks together, so...
I figure it would probably be Stewie that would probably talk down to Brian.
Yeah,
but
I can see that.
But they always have that. They always have that, like every other episode when it's them together. They always have that one moment where they talk down to each one another, and they learn from that.
Yeah, they do. So yeah, all their encounters are more of like a bonding relationship.
Yeah,
and then
especially
like
the one where they was locked in the bank.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that when he makes Brian eat his poop.
Eat my poop, Brian. Eat my poop.
Come on, do it for me.
Oh,
that shit's funny.
Oh man.
All right, well, I guess let's go on to the next topic.
Alrighty. Well, since before we started officially, we were talking about Alan Moore. So I'm just going to read his comments. So basically, he's alarmed at the success that the Avengers, the movie, has had. So he says, I haven't read any superhero comics since I finished Watchmen. He says, I hate superheroes. I think they're abominable. who would actively expand the imagination of their 9 to 13-year-old audience. That was completely what they were meant to do, and they were doing it excellently. These days, superhero comics think the audience is not 9 to 13. It's nothing to do with them. It's an audience largely of 30, 40, 50-year-old men, usually men. Someone came up with the term graphic novel. These readers latched onto it. They were simply interested in a way they could validate their continued love of Green Lantern or Spider-Man without appearing in some way emotionally subnormal. Subnormal. Thanks, Alan Moore. This is a mainstream addicted audience. I don't think the superhero stands for anything good. I think it's a rather alarming sign if we got audiences of adults going to see the Avengers movie and delighting in concepts and characters meant to entertain 12-year-old boys at the 1950s. And then Alan Moore dropped the mic. So what now, bitches? Went back to Hampton.
Bow to the serpent god.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I just barely read this earlier today, and I was like, wow. But he kind of reveals himself in his first line, where he's like, I haven't read a superhero comic since I wrote Watchmen. And it's ironic because, in my opinion, the only reason why superhero comics appeal to adults as much as they do is because of Watchmen. Yeah. Because he showed that superheroes can be mature, him along with Frank Miller with Dark Knight Returns.
Well, that's the whole thing, because to the untrained reader, you throw in a forget about it.
Yeah.
And you're so focused and probably raged out by everything you're reading, well, whatever, graphic novels, latch on, blah, 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 I'm not 12. Some shit like that. And then you get all fanboy angry and shit, but then, you forget about that statement he's already made to where he's already become disenfranchised with the whole genre.
Yeah.
And pretty much detached himself for, I don't know, excess of at least 15 years,
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because that's the thing. I mean, it's like there's all these adult superhero comics out now because of what he did, and they were inspired by him. Yeah. It's like the comics. I mean, it's hard. It's kind of bullshit for him to say, the audience, basically people haven't grown up. People are man-children because they want to read superhero comics in their adult age. But he hasn't read any of them that are geared towards adults to even make that judgment.
Yeah. I know.
Green Lantern fan. And I remember when, Jeff Johns was pretty much in the heat of the whole Green Lantern War story arcs. And somebody had asked Alan Moore, I forgot what he said, but he basically ripped on it because they were using his ideas from back in the 80s about the whole, the 3 prophecies that came to pass.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to shine some light, because I know you brought this subject up before we had just started. Just trying to gauge your opinion on the whole thing.
In a way, I kind of see how, what he's talking about, the way how...
Oh, you there, man? I'm sorry, you kind of cut out.
I kind of can see what he means in terms of Spider-Man and Green Lantern, how DC and not Warner Brothers, Sony. God damn it! I'm thinking about Warner Brothers all of a sudden. Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man. In a way, I kind of agree with him because, yes, we had Blackest Night, which was one of the 3 prophecies. The Green Lantern War, the First Lantern.
Yeah.
We have all those prophecies coming out through those arcs of for DC's Green Lantern events, and what I kind of can see.
And where you said where I kind of can see.
Means by it.
Okay.
Because when you look at Green Lantern now, it's like there is not. I have that word in my head. It was just.
Oh, trust me, it happens to me all the time, man.
It's not what it used to been. Pretty much superhero books has not what it used to been right up until.
It was like whatever he's about to say something
I know, it was like
that makes the point that's
point.
when it cuts out. It's like we can never know. These thoughts are too powerful. And Alan Moore
I'm sorry. Are you there with us, Desmond? I'm sorry, man.
I'm here.
Okay,
cool.
Continue.
I'm gonna have to keep the mic. I'm gonna have to hold my mic right here against my mouth now, I guess.
Okay.
Oh shit.
It's all.
I was gonna be on the roll too. I was going like bam, bam, hit all these key points. In terms of Green Lantern, Jeff Johns is currently not writing it, right?
Yeah.
So you have writers now is trying to follow the basic rules and I guess the Holy Green Lantern Bible that Jeff Johns laid out on it.
Yeah.
So you got these over the top, overblown stories, and Marvel's just the same with the death of Peter Parker. Doc Ock is taking over his body, and is now more the villain hero story as opposed to the grand scale of adult superhero.
Right.
So it's more appealing to adults than as opposed to 9 to 13-year-olds.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's pretty much what he's actually saying. But I
Again.
as an adult, I can see to this, and I think he should have just chose his words a lot more wisely.
Yeah.
But I guess he feels that he's, pseudo been in the game for X number of decades. He has the right to say what he wants.
Yeah, he more or less does, but it's kind of the whole thing. Just because you can doesn't necessarily mean you should.
I think this is the thing. I don't even know if he. I almost want to say to go as far to say is he likes to rub people the wrong way.
I think he does. I think it's just like an attempt just to stay. It's like relevancy of the year. Like his crazy comment that he makes every year. Yeah,
I think just at the very least, he just doesn't care. Like, he's pretty much like a hermit. Like, he's going to come out of his hole every now and then and say something, and people are going to go, oh my god, Alan Moore, that asshole,
the
but
prophecy
I love his
is
comics.
spoken.
He's a groundhog. He comes up, looks at his shadow, with the deuce,
I
goes back in.
think he forgets that, and he probably really does not read a lot of books himself.
I don't doubt it.
There's a lot of comic books out there that is not superhero that people can gravitate towards, like 100 Bullets.
Yeah, that's a great series.
Deus Ex Machina.
Brian K. Vaughan.
Brian K. Vaughan, his work, pretty much all his works right there.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like, Alan Moore just comes off as being just very close-minded, which isn't all that surprising. And again, going back to his original statement, it's like, I haven't read any superhero comics. I mean, you could look at someone like Garth Ennis, who also seems to hate superhero. Well, not even seems to. He deliberately hates superheroes.
Yeah, he doesn't care for the superhero genre at all.
But at least with him, like, I'm sure he at least has read some,
Yeah.
I mean, he at least seems to be more engaged in the community. So at least, I don't know, I just feel like his opinion is a little bit more valid, than someone who's, like, said they haven't read comics in, 3 decades? And they're going to say, like, why do people like these? Well, read one and maybe you'll find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll probably have to do like a magic trick first. Like, I'll read your book if you watch my show.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be the one thing, especially get Alan Moore to watch one of the Marvel movies or Watchmen I wouldn't recommend watching Watchmen. At the very least, V for Vendetta.
I think even for him that would be a stretch. No, actually, especially V for Vendetta. Because I remember he was especially pissed off about that one. Because that one has more emotional significance to him. Yeah. So he was just extra pissy about that one.
Was he?
I really don't want these royalties. Dave Gibbons, you take all this shit. So he was.
I figured League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was going to be the one that his actual nut kick.
But I think that was the thing. I think that's what started it. And he was like, I think that's when he officially was like, I don't even want to get paid for this. Take my name off. I'm done.
Well, see, League was the icing on the devil's cake because it not only completely cemented Alan Moore's disenfranchisement from ever working with Marvel or DC again. On top of whatever issues he had with Marvel and DC as far as recognition rights, or not recognition rights, but just recognition in general. But the fact that Sean Connery was like, League is terrible, I'm quitting movies forever. And he has not made a movie since then. That just shows you how bad, how terrible that movie was. That's like the Antichrist of comic book films.
You made Sean Connery cry.
Yeah. It's like Yul Bull's out there. He's like the jackal born from the mother. in the Bible. You know what I'm talking about? But and then League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is just like the Antichrist.
Yeah.
Oh, you bull.
And you saw how long it took Shane West to get any jobs in Hollywood.
Oh my God, yeah.
And Nikita's going off the air this year, so.
What is it?
Nikita.
Wow.
Oh, is it? I haven't been
Yeah.
keeping up with that series, but I heard the first 2 seasons were really strong.
Yeah, this is the final season. It was the first episode of the final season was on last Friday.
Oh, wow. Was La Femme Nikita that came on USA?
What the
Oh, with the not Natasha Hendricks,
Peter
right?
With Peter Wilson.
Peter Wilson.
Oh.
Okay.
I got the wrong actress on, man.
Oh man, I think that was like what 90 something.
Yeah, that was USA when USA was king of the airwaves.
Silk stockings.
Silk Stockings. I think they had Twin Peaks as well,
I never watched Twin Peaks.
or at least
I don't know.
they had reruns. I think for a while.
I remember for the longest time people kept talking about Twin Peaks. I was like, you mean the restaurant? They made a movie about that?
I didn't start watching Twin Peaks until Psych.
Oh, really?
Nice.
When they made the reference, there are numerous of references to different shows and movies. I was like,
yeah.
you know, let me give Twin Peaks a chance since it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
And it's hella weird. I'll give it that.
That's always a solid endorsement.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep for days.
All right, so what we got next on the burner?
All right, we got speaking of comic books, so we had discussed last week that The Preacher is well, not necessarily. Well, I guess they're talking about making it a television series on AMC, and apparently the person that's going to be producing it is probably the last person I expected to be producing something like Preacher, but Seth Rogen, you know, known for his excellent film Green Hornet.
Yeah. So once again, those not familiar with Preacher,
That dude fucks a chicken.
it's written by Garth Ennis. Genre, and not only turns it on its head, but then puts it on its back and fucks it sideways to Tuesday.
That's a good analogy right there, man.
Yeah. And it's very rare that I have a good analogy. But yeah, Garth Ennis is very vulgar. I don't know if anybody out there that's listening now had listened to the previous podcast. But yeah, there's chicken fucking. There's a guy that gets his testicles bit off by rabid, I think, Dobermans. They're dogs, whatever. And he's like and then Jesus has survived all these years, or at least his lineage has. I forget because I didn't get too far into the series. And he's just pretty much retarded because of a muddied bloodline. So he's very mentally unstable. And there's just all kinds of crazy shit. There's a Clint Eastwood as Death who kills Satan in like within the first couple of issues.
Wow.
And it's just a Clint Eastwood, man with no name archetype who's like this death angel that is on the hunt for Preacher and then I think God eventually. So it's all kinds of crazy.
I think that's up Seth Rogen's alley then.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
If anyone has seen This Is the End, then that's right up Seth Rogen's alley.
Yeah. Oh my god, especially the Channing Tatum cameo.
Oh god. I don't know how. Do it for free,
and a
guys.
Big Mac.
What?
And
What's his name for 21 Jump Street?
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill being raped by a demon
Yeah.
with a big dick.
Oh man.
It was consensual.
I don't know.
So yeah, I think that would be right up his alley.
Yeah.
But I know religious fanatics. I'm not gonna say fanatics, 'cause that's wrong. I'm gonna say very, very religious people is going to be up in arms against this series if it finally gets made.
Yeah, can
Yeah.
you imagine?
Yeah, I
Even
have
people
no
that are
doubt.
just genuinely religious, like, I mean, it's not like it's just like taking shots. It's not like, I don't know, like Kevin Smith's Dogma or something. It's just like, this is just like perverting like everything that they believe in. It's like, but it's like even non-religious people might watch and be like, yeah, that's a little much.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I think that's what makes it really interesting that it's going to be on AMC of all channels. It's like, how are they going to do this? You know, like how much are they going to cut out, or are they going to actually really going to be true to the series?
It's a bold move on them, and if it does go through and it's semi-faithful to it, then more power to them.
Mm-hmm.
but they got to pair it up with The Walking Dead to
definitely.
at least level out the gore and all the crazy shit that's going to go down.
Yeah, Rick Grimes is
Well,
going to
see,
make
and
a
that's
cameo.
the thing that has always been an argument. With The Walking Dead, it's in a sense dead bodies.
Mhm.
So in a sense, MPAA or not MPAA, but the TV censors, there's no real harm in killing off a dead body, because it's already dead.
Mhm.
So you can do all kinds of gruesome stuff there and just and then focus on, the mental awareness of the series and people's like emotions and whatnot and how psychologically they feel throughout
Right.
the series. Like, early on and after Laurie's death. Oh, spoiler alert. After Laurie's death in Walking
Good
Dead,
riddance.
Rick goes crazy and he becomes delusional. So, that was a really interesting aspect that you don't really see in a whole lot of shows, and the fact that they bring it into a show that's half, what do you call it, supernatural, and they bring this whole psychological element. It just added layers to a show that I think that was partly why a lot of people who aren't wouldn't normally read comics became like super interested in it.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, on a daily basis, people getting eviscerated.
Yeah, exactly.
'Cause, I mean, let me see. In season 2, Dale, spoiler alert, got his stomach ripped open by a zombie.
No, poor Dale. Yeah, he just
this-
ripped him open. Like, it was all gruesome.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
oh, that hurt really bad.
Either credit or flack for killing off very popular characters or important characters.
But these are the people who don't read the damn book.
Yeah. But at the same time, Walking Dead is just as guilty, I would say, because they've killed off some pretty. There's not as big a cast. I don't think you can. I mean, even the TV show of Game of Thrones has watered down the cast from the book.
Well, yeah. I don't think they could. I don't think they'd even be able to do the show if they had as many characters as in the book.
Yeah, but with Walking Dead, they're able to pull it off, and all the main characters have more or less, have made their appearances when necessary. And they die, and then people that are emotionally attached, like Dale. When I started actually getting into the series, and I got up to the part where Dale died, I was like, why? Why? He was the heart and soul of the group.
Now Herschel is.
Yeah, now it's
Herschel.
exactly.
Oh,
he
man,
just got
Herschel's
replaced
awesome.
by Herschel. But could you imagine if the both of them? They'd be like the Highfather Council,
Yeah, I always thought, like, I really enjoyed, like, well, not that Dale died, but, like, what his death signified, because I always hate when they kill characters and they just there's like no lasting effect.
There's no fallout
Yeah.
or like a black hole created.
But the whole
from
thing with
aftermath.
Dale is like Dale literally like was the end of like he was like the end of like civilization. Like he was the end of the group's conscience, and like
But-
from there on it was like Shane's world, where it's like anything goes. That
And it also carried over into this season because Carl blamed
yeah.
himself for Dale's death.
Yeah.
So it actually carried over till now into season 4. So it is a long lasting effect on his death.
Yeah,
so
that's
I
very
do
true,
agree with
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of The Walking Dead, we have another topic related to that. So they've been talking about a prequel, and it's kind of been people have been kind of wondering like exactly what they're going to do with it. So as of right now, they're aiming for 2000. Things can still change, so who knows? I guess if people are like up in an uproar, like we don't want a prequel, they'll probably change it. But right now, they're thinking about doing it where it kind of chronicles the early days of when the epidemic first happens, when zombies first start outbreaking, and it's not going to take place in Georgia. They haven't decided where, but it's going to be somewhere different. So I guess it's going to be more of like a kind of like a patient zero situation where you actually see how it starts and how it spreads. So I think that would be interesting.
I'd rather see it same timeline, but in a different city to let us actually know that it's not just in Georgia. It's happening somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'd rather see that as opposed to it being in a prequel. After the first 3 Star Wars movies, if
I'm right there with you. Yeah, it's like that just sullies you on anything prequel. They're
Yeah,
gonna put Jar Jar Binks zombie in there.
shit, zombie or not, he's taking a bullet to the head. Or but in this case, a lightsaber.
Yeah, no, right. that would be the only reason to ever put him in anything, is just to kill him. And kill him gruesomely. But yeah, I actually agree with you. I'd rather see something that's actually paralleling the timeline. I don't know, if you could pick a city, like what city would you want it to take place in?
I'll say, what's the most New York. That's the most overpopulated city ever.
Oh, yeah. Dude, New York would be crazy, because if you think about the first episode, when they go to Atlanta, and how that was, like, completely just overrun with zombies, for people to be able to survive in New York, like, that would be insane. Like, these guys, like, as badass as the people, like, in the prison are, like, they would have to be that much more, like, adept at survival to even survive there, like, a month or so, you know?
Yeah, that's why I would love to see it. In Los Angeles. It can't be done in Los Angeles or Detroit because the crime. Detroit got better, higher crime rate than we do, but we still have a lot of people with guns here. Texas, I know Texas, California, and
I'm sorry, you said Texas, California, and who?
Detroit.
Detroit. Okay.
So I know damn full well, and I know there's a gun shop near us. People are going to be armed to the teeth.
Yeah.
So I know we're going to be fine. I know me and my brothers are fine in the zombie apocalypse. Because we're spread it out. We're not too close into the city. But New York, everything is compacted. There's high-rises. There's buildings. There's a lot more people as opposed to more in the West. And more in the Midwest going to East, there's a lot more buildings and a lot more cities, you know? So it's going to be a lot harder, I'll say, for, like I said, New York, Washington, going down that line from New York down, it's going to probably be a lot more harder for them to survive as opposed to everyone that's in Georgia going towards the west.
Yeah, most definitely, especially because when you look at the episodes, half the time they're like in the jungle, you know, they're in there in the woods and stuff. You know, there's no woods, you know, in New York City, you know, it's the concrete jungle.
Yeah. And we got big open spaces in the more in the middle, in the heart of the country here in the U.S. So you can see a damn zombie miles away, and you'd be like, "Huh? All right, I'll just go the other direction."
Yeah, it would be nice if, I don't know. I would hope that maybe they'd change their mind about the prequel and go with that instead, because that sounds a lot more intriguing, and it's going to force them to have to be a lot more creative. Yeah, I think a prequel would be cool for like a mini-series, maybe like a 4-issue part or something, or 4-episode, just if you want like more info about, you know, what caused it. But yeah, I think seeing survivors in New York would be a lot more interesting in the long run.
I was going to ask how you guys still feel about Frank Darabont still feeling hurt that he
still hurt about having been forced off the show.
Yeah.
You know, it's been what, like 3 years now, 3-4 years.
Was he the guy? Wait, no. Which guy was he? The showrunner for season 3 or
for season 1? He was the original season.
Okay. There's
blah blah runner, showrunner.
Showrunner. I don't know, like. Because that's the thing, almost everybody I talked to about The Walking Dead that don't watch it anymore were like, yeah, it was too slow. So, I mean, the fact that that's kind of the general consensus, like, the fact that, I mean, because to me, the first 2 episodes were really good, and the last one of the season, but it did kind of drag on, and I feel like these are some of the best episodes of the season, or of the series. Excluding probably I think maybe the first 2 of the last season. But I feel like overall the other showrunners have done a better job, you know, and hey, that's life, you know. So I mean, it sucks for him. I'm sure if I were in that position, I'd be pissed off too. Like, I'm not watching any more Walking Dead. Fuck. Kirkman, he sucks.
I would be a little upset. You know, if he was bitter about it and like, you know, the show couldn't be successful without me or would never be successful without me, and that's half true, but I don't know, I'm the type of person that would probably just be graceful about it, be happy for all the people involved success. I'm happy for success. I'm sad that I couldn't be a part of it, but given the amount of time, if it was like a year or two in, then I'd be like, okay. And he's doing a show now, like a mobster type show for TNT now. So I mean, the dude's got a job.
I can't wait to see that show.
Yeah, I forget what it's called, but I had just I was watching Castle on TNT, and then I saw the commercial. I was like, oh sweet, guy got back up on his feet, which I'm sure he can afford to go a year or two with the money he has set aside. So I don't know. I think he could be a little more graceful about it. I mean, I know the whole thing was really ugly, the way it all ended, and it was like semi-shady, but if it wasn't his fault. Oh, did we lose him?
I don't know. Something weird happened. Yeah, I think it's reconnecting. But I'll just say for the listeners, quote Carol, he's weak and he needs to be strong. So I don't know. It seems like like you said, it's been a while now. Like I don't know. I feel like he can get over it. I mean, even though like you said, there are kind of some shady dealings that led into it, but I don't know. I don't think you have to let that define him.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah. So we're trying to reconnect. So we apologize for the noise in the background. So I don't know. I guess we'll move on to the next topic while we try to get Desi back on the line. So let me see here. We have Ben Affleck, because when you talk about comic books and movies, everybody thinks Ben Affleck, but what they really want to think is Matt Damon. And luckily for everybody, they'll be teaming up buddy to buddy. Unfortunately, not actually in the movie together, but they're both going to co-produce DC Comics' The Sleeper, which is written by Brian Brubaker. Interesting, I've never actually read Sleeper. I know they're the same. It's the same creative team. Brian Brubaker, or Ed Brubaker. And Chad Phillips, and they're the people that both wrote
Technical difficulties.
Yeah. All right, and we have him back. Yeah, I was telling the listeners we're talking about. I don't know if you're familiar with Ed Brubaker's comic, The Sleeper.
Oh man, I've been hearing things about it, but no, I'm not.
Okay, so none of us have read it.
Good, we're on the same page.
yeah, good. We're on the same page. Apparently, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are planning to bring this to the big screen. The thing that I thought was really interesting is you look at the cover, it looks kind of like gritty, like noir, and the way they have it described is like if you're not familiar with the comic, it looks like it's part of the Wildstorm universe and a spinoff of Point Blank and Gen 13. So I thought that was really interesting because I haven't read Gen 13 since like the 90s, since like J. Scott Campbell was like the big deal. So I don't know how to feel about it because that was never really like that great of a, as far as the writing went, that was never really that great of a comic. It was more like, oh hey, it's hot chicks and they're punching people really hard
with purple hair.
Yeah.
That was more of a Wildcats, man.
Oh yeah, Wildcats. Dude, did you ever see the cartoon that was on USA?
I didn't have cable back in the day.
Oh man, you missed it. I used to love Wing Commander, Street Fighter. Street Fighter's pretty terrible, but I watched it anyway. But anyway, the reason why I'm actually excited about this, I forgot, because those of you that have listened know that I'm a huge fan of The Shield, not Agents of Shield, a good show, starring Michael Chiklis. So the writer behind that, Sean Ryan, is going to be working on this. So that actually makes me very, very excited.
Okay. Well, Sean Ryan, he kind of like a his show's like sort of a hit and miss.
Yeah.
What other shows has he done?
The one he did for ABC. I can't believe I forgot the damn name of that show.
I know it's never when you need the information.
Yeah, I know.
You're gonna be sitting on the toilet and be like, "Oh, that show."
like 4 hours later after the podcast is done. It was this show.
He did The Unit, Lie to Me, Terriers, The Chicago Code, Last Resort.
There we go.
Last Resort.
Yep.
Okay, I never saw that one. Was it terrible?
I'll just say this: if you have a main plot line where the focus of the show is them suck on in one specific area, like the submarine, it shouldn't have been a damn miniseries, not a full series.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it says here. Circumstances of the order, the captain refuses to fire, and after escaping an attack from another U.S. sub, the crew and the SEALs take refuge on a small island. So, sounds like an even worse version of Lost.
Yeah, so it should have been a miniseries.
Yeah.
Certain shows should have just been miniseries and just been done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Like The Following, that's coming back for a second season.
What is that? What is that one about?
Stars Kevin Bacon and James Purefoy. James Purefoy is this very charismatic cult leader, and he has these very intricate ways of having people work for him and just do these big extravagant kills either on other people, on themselves, and there's a pretty much of a backstory between him and Kevin Bacon, who plays an FBI agent who's meant to go against him and try to bring him down.
Okay, gotcha. I would argue that it's tailored more towards a miniseries.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
because
I think that's the thing with some shows where it's like if it's successful, they want to stretch it out as much as possible, and they just end up just oversaturating instead of just trying to tell like a story from like point A to point B. Like this is. That's the way it is with more British TV, where a lot of their shows, only have like a finite amount of seasons because they're not trying to just run it into the ground until you can't make episodes anymore.
Right.
Like I was surprised to hear that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. only has normally shows have a 5-year to 7-year plan.
Mm-hmm.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. only has a 2-year plan.
Oh, wow. I'm actually... go ahead.
I'm like, are you planning to end the series after 2 years?
I've only watched up to I think maybe 4 episodes, and then I kind of lost interest. But I'm kind of surprised they even have a 2-year plan because that show just feels like it's not really going anywhere.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's gone in 2 years. I'm definitely not going to shed a tear for it unless it gets a lot better. I mean, maybe it's just starting up slow, but I don't know. I was very disappointed with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I think the expectations of Josh Whedon thinking this is his show. That's why it's probably getting a lot of flack because he's not a part of it. It's mainly his brother and his brother's wife that's over the show.
Oh, I see.
So it's mainly theirs. I still have faith in it because Jed Whedon did some seasons of Spartacus.
Oh, okay. Now you got my attention.
Yeah, that's the Prometheus one. That was his favorite show when it was running.
Oh my God. So great.
I shed a manly tear for Spartacus.
Dude, so did I. Like, to me, like the worst part of like the end was like no one else. I was watching it by myself. Like no one was around to enjoy how great of an ending it was. I was just like, I'm just here to grieve alone for this man's suffering. He died so that they could live. What's that?
During that ending, I heard my brother all the way from the front of the house in his room screaming, "This is some bullshit."
Gannicus, no! Is that the way
and I'm just sitting there like, all right, you got me.
I was chopping onions.
I said I wouldn't cry.
Okay, so since you're a fan of Spartacus, so we were doing Dreamcasting before Ben Affleck was officially cast as Batman, and I feel like Liam McIntyre, who plays Spartacus, would have been an awesome Batman.
Yes.
Yeah, validation.
Yes, he would have been an awesome Batman. He can be. He probably have to work on being charismatic for Bruce.
I agree. Oh yeah, he would definitely have to work on that.
But in terms of action, he proves on Spartacus that he can kick ass.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And he's what? I wouldn't say close to his 40s.
Oh wow.
Probably mid. Maybe he's probably in his like mid to late 30s. So you got someone who's willing to put.
I'm sorry.
Put a sword in someone's throat. So that's what he was going to say.
Batarang in this case.
Yeah, there you go. Eat this, Joker.
Boom.
So,
He wouldn't even really need to mask his voice. He already has like a deep voice anyway.
yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't know, just like physically and like all of that, like the voice, the presence, the fighting ability, like all of that to me is just like perfect for like a more action oriented Batman.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't really even think about Bruce Wayne. Yeah, he would have to work on that. I will concede that point.
Yeah, because for all the greatness the Dark Knight trilogy had, and I think we argued this a couple episodes ago. Like the action wasn't like the action was really great in the first one, but there wasn't a whole lot of like really like intense fight choreography that I was hoping. I mean, there was a lot of plot and stuff like that, and a lot of like big explosion action scenes and whatnot.
I think Dark Knight Rises did. I feel Dark Knight Rises did.
They had it in the end scene, but I was like, I was craving a lot more. Like throughout the entire trilogy, I was just really hoping there was a lot of like Jason, Born Identity type, like Krav Maga, like close range combat fight scenes, stuff like that.
You gotta admit that alley scene where they shooting and he just like shadow stepping and like the flashes and he's just like on Bleach when Ichigo is shadow stepping.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah.
Batman was technically doing that in Rises, and that was kind of cool. You see him just like in the shadows, just moving very quickly, taking people out.
Yeah.
I thought that was more comic booky in that scene alone.
Yeah, each movie had one. I'm forgetting to recall which one was kind of comic booky. You say the little cell phone sonar thing was kind of comic booky, but like even in the first one, when he's got the tumbler driving on rooftops. Yeah, it kind of takes you out of the realism that Nolan was trying to paint, and it's just like, oh, come on, he's riding on rooftops.
Hey, that's a perfect way to get out of rush hour traffic. I don't know. I just want to say, like, I was never really disappointed in the action. Only because
I wasn't either. Just for the record, that's just what I craved. I just wish it had a lot more like close range combat fight scenes.
Yeah, I guess I just tempered my expectations because after it begins, it's a very specific scene. Batman gets back to Gotham, all the ninjas surround him, and I'm like, oh my god, it's going to be Batman versus like 5 ninjas, and he just like dives at one, and they cut to the next scene. So after that, I'm like, I'm not going to get any cool action out of this, I'm still going to get cool action, but not the action that I deserve.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
But it's something to look forward to, though, for Batman versus Superman, is the fact that
Sorry, we just have a really bad connection.
Yeah. I was going to say this is the first time we have a Batman that is actually well-versed in sci-fi now.
Yeah.
It's going to be more he's going to actually fight people that is way stronger than him.
Oh, good point.
Because there's going to be a point where him and Superman is going to have to team up. And whatever the threat is, this is the first time we're going to see Batman bare-knuckle brawl, fight. And it's going to be a fight for your life type of situation. And I trust Zack Snyder. If the action is just going to be just as over the top as Man of Steel 1,
they're
going to do it again in 2, but except for this time, Superman got back up.
Yeah, you make a very good point, because Zack Snyder is not going to disappoint with the action.
I'm just hoping if they do Batman, because I'm still unhappy with the whole thing. Call me silly or whatever. I'm just not happy with Ben Affleck as Batman. I just don't care for Ben Affleck in general.
I always have a rule. I'm not going to judge until I see it.
No, I understand that. It's like the whole, and this is kind of a bad analogy. Like I said, I get one good analogy every blue moon. But like the whole R. Kelly thing, like the dude can sing good. I just don't like the dude, Like, say what you want about him. I just don't care for R. Kelly. There's just certain people I don't care for, and like I don't know whatever it is about Ben Affleck. I
once peed on you.
Yeah, he peed on me.
Now that's a good analogy.
Yeah, he brought back Scars and Dazed and Confused. No, but
he was not the bomb in Phantoms.
Yeah. Regardless of all that, my point is, let me just get to the point. Is that I kind of hope for this movie we get to see some cool, like, I don't know, just like thinking of like Injustice, Gods Among Us gameplay, where you get just some like really cool like gadget scenes where like Batman's like fighting and just doing some cool close range combat, along with like assisting Superman with all his like cool gadgets and stuff, while Superman's going around and I don't know, fucking going Kaioken on bitches.
Kaioken.
And, some dude pops up, and all of a sudden the guy gets like a batarang in his back, and Superman notices and punches the crap out of the dude before he can get the jump on Superman. Just some cool like tag team type shit. Like, that's what I'm really hoping from this movie. Regardless of Ben Affleck's role in it, I just want to see Batman throw some cool ass gadgets when it comes to the point where the two of them have to like hero up together.
I just want them to CGI out Ben Affleck's chin dimple, and I'll be okay.
Chin dimple. Yeah.
Just put some putty, so it's a solid chin, and then I think I can deal with it.
They can always like do like a not rhinoplasty, but like make a mold.
Hilarious. That'll be the best prosthetic.
He'll just
ever.
look like the Tick in Batman's outfit.
Spoon.
Spoon.
I was gonna say when he said like Batman and Superman tag teaming, it's like Batman punches the dude, gives him the black eye, throws him to Superman. Superman just punches a hole through him. It's like, sorry,
He just
I don't
sticks
know
his
my own
arm
strength.
out and decapitates him.
Yeah. The guy just rips it in half. So I'm still getting used to these powers. This adaptation.
Yeah.
But speaking of movies that are going to have more action, apparently they're going to do a quote-unquote unleashed version of the Wolverine, of James Mangold's version, the one that was just out in theaters. And apparently, like, one of the major sticking points for me was, like, he didn't fight ninjas, the action. I mean, there was action, but I still wanted more. But apparently in this version, we're going to get it. Like, apparently they filmed all this. They knew people like me were going to be like, come on, Wolverine didn't fight ninjas, come on.
Yeah, he runs through them, and they shoot arrows in his back until they slow him down. Like he's a fucking juggernaut or something.
Yeah,
shit.
exactly. It's like, I did all those push-ups for that. 3,000 calories a day just to get shot in the back by ninjas. But they said when Wolverine battles the men trying to kidnap Mariko, their quick but notable addition, such as seeing more blood. There are also a number of short scenes added that give more texture to the Yoshida family, including more flashbacks. That's not what I wanted to read. Wolverine/ninja battle. In the theatrical version, Wolverine has an incredibly brief skirmish with ninjas when he's attacked, but they manage to take him down with a multitude of arrows. But Mangold shot way more than that. There was, in fact, a major fight sequence that had Wolverine, aided by Yukio, fighting the entire horde of ninjas that gives more context for how they finally stop him. But it was ultimately cut from the theatrical version because too much of it was R-rated material.
I haven't seen the Wolverine, so I wouldn't really know.
Okay. Well, basically, it should have been an epic scene where he chops a bunch of ninjas up, and instead he pretty much like takes a nap. So that
he like runs through a few of them, but it's not.
Like 2.5.
It's like your typical PG stuff where it's like he slices the dude's bow in half.
So pretty much like that fight scene in X-Men 2.
Yeah, pretty much. We're like, or even when you go back to like the animated series, where like the only thing Wolverine truly like quote unquote kills is Sentinels, where he like really rips into him. But like when he tries to go after the Juggernaut, it's like metal scraping on metal, and then he's like, "Oh, that tickles," and then kicks him.
Even the animated series had like better action than that, though.
It did, but remember when he's fighting Alpha Flight?
Yeah,
and he pops his claws, but never uses them, and he's actually like he takes down a whole fucking team of superheroes by himself, but he can never like. In like another fight.
It's just like you would think he would just accidentally cut somebody with how long and sharp his claws are. Like he's not trying to cut him, and you just kind of like you like cut yourself shaving, and they just be like all cut up after the battle. Like, sorry about that, bub.
Or it was kind of like the equivalent, like when you're playing a video game and there's like a room swarmed with bad guys, and you're just sitting there like, what would happen if I just ran through and like. Could I miraculously just dodge as many bullets before I die to make it to the end doorway or the next save file area or the checkpoint? And then you do, and then you just get overrun and die. Yeah. Like that's pretty much what that scene was with Wolverine. He just tried to avoid them all.
Yeah.
Well, there's two instances where Wolverine did actually start stabbing people. Hulk versus.
Yeah.
Hulk versus, yes, yeah.
Avengers Earth Mightiest Heroes on the episodes when Wolverine was there.
Okay, that I haven't seen.
He actually did. There was not a lot of robot on Wolverine action. It was more Wolverine Wolverine fighting mythical monsters, and he was actually stabbing them.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
I remember him chopping off Deadpool's arm.
Yeah, and Hulk versus Well, that would be like. I wish they would actually do a whole series of the movies like that, where it's a little bit more adult, and Wolverine can actually be Wolverine.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably like the best like video incarnation of Wolverine that I've seen.
like
Oh, you cut out again, man. I'm sorry.
the X-Men series, where the X-Men anime is crappy, but I'm not gonna take it out on the voice actor for Cyclops. But he hit a dude so hard they said he was dead.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. When they're fighting the U-Men, I think.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, they can do it. If you can do an X-Men series like that, I will definitely be watching it.
Yeah.
Oh man.
'Cause they're actually using their powers.
Yeah.
Like Cyclops killed a guy.
Yeah. And that, I mean, that's the one thing. Like, I'm not sure, but I'm sure you did, Desi. But me and Prometheus here, we grew up on X-Men the animated series,
Yes.
and Amazing Spider-Man. Like those were the shows you woke up to eat Captain Crunch to.
Yeah.
And I feel like, with X-Men Evolution, Wolverine, the X-Men, all these other shows, they were good. Some of them I kind of really fucking hated. But or even if you want to include Batman the Animated Series and Superman, the Bruce Timm verse, to me, anything that came afterwards just didn't capture
The essence of those shows.
exactly. Yes, thank you. Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Give them back. They just didn't capture the gold that those shows provided to kids. Because I remember I still remember my dad would watch those shows with us, and later in the years he was like, "Whatever happened to that show?" I was like, "I don't know." Prometheus told me a year ago what had actually happened. But
the X-Men the animated series.
yeah,
Fox, those rat bastards. I remember reading this. I remember getting so angry because I did some research for it like 2 years ago, and despite the fact that the ratings were still fantastic, they didn't own the property. And they wanted to own the property, so they're just like, well, since we can't own it, we're just going to cancel it.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I was gonna say with that. Spectacular Spider-Man actually closely captured the essence of Spider-Man the animated series. I can honestly say that.
okay. That was one that I missed out on. I have been watching Ultimate Spider-Man. I've been enjoying that. I really enjoyed the crap out of Superhero Squad, but it's geared to kids probably younger than what X-Men TAS was geared towards. But just going back to my original point, my dad saying whatever happened to that show? I used to love watching that show because they had adult themes rewritten for kids to where they could understand, and I loved to watch it, and I was just that anybody could enjoy no matter what age they were.
I would definitely suggest you and your dad, and for you and your son, to watch Spectacular Spider-Man.
Spectacular Spider-Man?
Yeah. Disney had the rights to Spider-Man, but when Marvel got the TV rights of Spider-Man back, they couldn't get season 2. They only was able to get season 1 of Spectacular Spider-Man.
Gotcha.
And that's when they was hidden. The guy who created Gargoyles. I know you remember Gargoyles.
Yeah. Who could forget? True child of the 90s.
He created the best Spider-Man series next to the animated series of Spider-Man. It was really that damn good.
Okay, cool. I'm taking your word on it.
So Spectacular Spider-Man, was that the one that they replaced with a more kiddie version, more recently?
Yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man is the replacement.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because I remember hearing about that, and people were pissed. They're like, well, but it was so great.
I do enjoy Ultimate Spider-Man. It just doesn't come out as often.
Here's another thing that I feel some people's pissed off on it, but Josh Keaton did the voice of Peter Parker Spider-Man. He did some of the Spider-Man games, and he also did Spectacular Spider-Man.
Oh, he was in Marvel too, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
nice.
He was supposed to do the voice of Spider-Man in Avengers: Earth Mightiest Heroes.
Oh wow. Wow.
When Drake.
Can you hear us?
I can hear you guys. Can you
Okay.
still hear me?
Okay. Yeah, you're back.
Josh Keaton, like I said, Josh Keaton was supposed to do a number of episodes of as Spider-Man in Avengers: Earth Mightiest Heroes. But since a lot of kids was getting used to the voice of Drake Bell as Spider-Man from Ultimate Spider-Man, they redubbed with Drake Bell's voice and completely took out Josh Keaton's.
Wow.
That is lame.
Wow.
As a kick in the nuts to Marvel doing that, there's an episode of Young Justice where Josh Keaton's playing an evil version of Spider-Man, where he gets taken out by Artemis and some other female heroes.
Oh, man.
Oh, nice.
It was pretty much of a fuck you back to Marvel.
Yeah.
A well-deserved one.
Yeah. Thanks
So I
for
was
your
like,
years
wow.
of service.
Yeah, I was like, what?
That's ridiculous.
So, but as my brother saw him at Long Beach Comic Con, he didn't seem bitter over it.
No,
But
that's good. That's good though.
I'm like, I'm still pissed that he got to meet Josh Keaton. And I couldn't even go.
Which Comic Con did this was recent, right? Because I remember
Yep.
seeing a comment like, "I get to be at work. My brother gets to cover Comic Con."
Yeah, Long Beach Comic Con.
Long Beach. Oh man, who was there? There was some. I keep up with a lot of cosplayers, and I know there was.
I know Vampy Bit Me was there.
Oh, fap.
Another famous cosplayer. She always cosplays Nightwing. Asian woman. I forgot her name.
I know Vampy Bit Me does do Nightwing.
But my brother said some. He was trying not to be sexist, but he said some fine ass looking women. That was like, shit.
Yeah, I don't doubt. Yeah, we just covered Austin Comic Con. There's some lovely ladies out there. We actually had Ivy Doom Kitty out here. And Nicole Marie Jean.
And Marie Doll.
Marie Doll. Yeah, that was another
She did an
one.
awesome Galactus.
Oh, I haven't seen that. That sounds badass, though. No, you're talking about Nicole Marie Jean?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And
Yeah,
I think she also did, if I'm correct, Deadpool, Batgirl, and Supergirl.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I think as far as like costumes goes, like I think she's hands down one of the best cosplayers. I literally just discovered her this year. She's like so creative. Like I remember when I met her, she was telling me she was doing a con a week with a different costume every week. Like
Yeah.
that is so impressive. Like it would take me probably like a whole year just to
Yeah,
do one.
and that Shredder one that she just did, she completed it in maybe just a little over a day with all the spikes for the Shredder. That's all I gotta say.
I just love how her Emma Frost, like she has like the diamonds like on the face, and she has like a contact that you can't even see out of. Like that's her dedication. So she's walking around like half blind throughout
Yeah.
this con just to have this costume that looks like impeccable.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Crazy.
So
That's dedication that I can respect.
Exactly. Yeah. So I got a lot of respect for her.
Mad respect. But Long Beach, we're finally. I'm more in the middle. Compton's like more in the middle between Long Beach and Los Angeles.
Okay.
For a while, we had Wizard LA. That's gone completely now. Taking over that is Kamikaze.
Kamikaze.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. They did that one recently too, or they're getting ready to.
It actually already passed. It was from November. It was from November 1st through the 3rd.
Okay.
Third.
Yeah. Okay, that's right.
We have the Anime Expo here, and going towards Halloween, late November. This is the first time in the past 5 years that the horror it's now a horror Comic-Con. This is the first time in 5 years that the convention started off at the end of this month.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, because they didn't want to compete against. I guess apparently they didn't want to compete against Kamikaze.
Okay, that makes sense.
You never want to step on other people's toes for fear of. Well, actually, I don't know what for fear of, but yeah, you don't want to create competition where you're going to make people that are attending events choose. Oh, should I go here or should I go there? And
Nope.
It kind of creates discord.
But this is a great convention. It's never over. I think the max amount of people this year was about 35,000.
Oh wow, yeah.
And it was only a 2-day con.
Wow.
That's a nice good number. If it gets bigger over the years, I'm fine with that. It's finally putting California on the map in terms of conventions.
Yeah, yeah. Or at least
Besides San Diego.
Yeah.
San Diego
Comic-Cons that aren't San Diego.
But yeah, I'm kind of jealous of my brother. He works for these conventions now.
Oh, nice.
So he's like, every year there's a different color T-shirt for him. This year he's the blue shirts.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Last year it was red shirts, so you can tell there was like a lot of red shirt jokes.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm glad he made it through it.
Yeah. There's a couple of red shirts that got fired, which we was like, oh, they died.
They're dead.
But yeah, that's why I had that Facebook status up. I'm like, he gets to go, and I'm here.
That sucks. I think it's ironic. It's like, the slogan is like, everything's bigger in Texas except for Comic-Cons. They're a lot smaller. It's like,
Yeah.
It seems like they're just slowly building and finally, it seems like they're finally, catching on. Like, people are like, oh, yeah, comic books. We like those down here, too.
Yeah, I've been noticing that over the last couple of years now that more obscure cities are getting their own conventions more and more. And I'm kind of glad that a lot more people don't have to drive 3-4 hours out of the way just to get to a convention. There's going to be one near them pretty soon.
Yeah.
So, that's cool.
I think I was always kind of spoiled because when I grew up in Phoenix, and Phoenix had a pretty big con. Back in those days, that's when Image was first started up, and Todd McFarlane lived there. Yeah. So we always had huge cons, and then it's like now as an adult, it's just like, what? That's all? I got to pay $20 for an autograph? This is bullshit. That stuff used to be free. That's when the country was strong.
Not anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You look at them. $10. What? I just glanced.
$10.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I would never forget, I got to meet Mike Mignola, the creator of Hellboy.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
And he was like, I was like, $5? He was like, yep. And I was like, okay. Boom. I didn't even need to, ask him. I was like, $5 for an autograph. He was like, yeah. He was like, you already, he was like, you already know. I was like, yes, sir.
And so I found out Arthur Soydam was coming. This was last year. And he's the guy that does all the Marvel zombie covers.
Yeah.
And I went up to him, and I was wearing my zombie Captain America shirt that I had bought years ago at Hot Topic. And I had my Marvel Zombies hardcover, Volume 1. And I walked up to him and was like, man, I am a huge fan. And I was just gushing. I was somewhat starstruck. And I was like, would you please, he's just like, oh, thank you, blah, blah, blah. I was like, would you please sign my book for me? And he just kind of had this and he started looking around. Yeah, but I'll tell you what, kid. And I'm like, I just turned 30. I was like, so what the fuck are you calling me kid for? And he's like, I'll tell you what, kid. Buy 2 prints, I'll sell them to you for $20, and I'll sign your book. And I'll sign everything. I'll sign the prints, and I'll sign your book.
Wow.
And let's call that a deal. And I was just like, and I didn't have any money, man. The money I did have, it was saving aside for my kid, grocery money, emergency grocery money, stuff like that.
Yeah. And
so I was like, yeah, I don't really. Do you take card? So I just kind of threw that out there, and he was just like, no, but there's an ATM if you want me to walk you over there. And I was just like,
wow.
I'll go, man. I'll go. I'll be back. Don't worry. And then I just. And shit, and they were like, what's wrong, Prometheus and my wife, and they're like, what's going on, man? I was like, motherfucker wants $20 for an autograph. I was like, I don't want any of the prints, they're cool looking, but I just don't want them. I just want them to sign my book and go home happy, and I didn't get that.
I would say the most coolest person, 2 coolest people I ever met, Jimmy Palminotti,
okay,
and Amanda Connor. Well, they're married now.
Oh, okay, cool. I did not know that.
I went up to her. She didn't charge me for nothing.
Nice.
She signed my sketch. She signed and did She-Hulk in my sketchbook for me.
Oh, dude. Just
and
Shulky. Love it.
And I was just, we was holding a conversation, and I was like, and just out of respect, I was like, I'd like to buy one of your prints. And she's like, really? I was like, yes. Because there was hardly anybody there, and I was like, and she was like, thank you. I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
And then here comes, her boyfriend at the time, which was Jimmy, but now they're married. And I had my, the Wednesday Comics DC hat.
Yeah.
And I was like, since you're right here, you mind signing? He was like, oh, sure, hell yeah, I'll sign it for you.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was like, two of the coolest people ever. They didn't even charge me 1 cent.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Steve Niles, another one. He didn't charge me to sign his comic book Mystery Squad.
Nice.
Wow. People like that, and they just completely take your breath away in a good way,
Yep, and I was like, that's just the most awesome thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the thing? Because it's like, that's how it always used to be. It's like, you pay the cost to get in, and then, I mean, usually you would have to wait in line to get an autograph, but it's not like every autograph didn't cost you $20. Like, it was never like that,
Yeah.
Like, as far as, I want to say back in maybe 2007, 2006, when I went to Heroes Con in Charlotte, I got autographs, I think, from Joe Quesada and Brian Hitch. I didn't have to pay anything.
And Rosario Dawson, you told me, was
Yeah.
walking the
Yeah,
floor, just hanging
Rosario
out
Dawson's
and
just
taking
hanging out.
pictures with people.
Yeah, it's like, she's a big celebrity. She wanted like $20 for a memory.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Oh my god! If I saw Rosario Dawson, I would probably pass the fuck out.
Exactly.
I did damn near fall off the escalator.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, ah!
I would definitely be like, if I get a hug from her, I can just be like, fuck Scarlett Johansson. I just got a hug from Rosario Dawson.
Yeah. I can die happy.
I'll never watch these arms again.
Because I'm like, she's one of us.
Nice.
Yeah. That's definitely cool, though.
That's awesome.
But it's very rare you can find any artist or writer who's just openly like, they won't charge you and just be the utmost coolest people in the world.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very true. Kind of had that feeling with because last year as well, Jim Chung was here, and he does the artwork for, at the time when I was really big into it when it first started, Young Avengers, and he did the first, like, the introductory series to Young Avengers along with Alan blah blah blah. He was a writer on the OC. What the hell was his name? And then he never came back and revisited the series. And then Civil War happened, and they did a one shot or a little mini series with him. And then Young Avengers was just kind of forgot about until just recently. When they brought the series back and rebooted it to #1. And I've been collecting it again ever since. But yeah, he did the original artwork, and I love his art. And I met him, and I was like, "Hey, man, this was the Saturday of that same day where I just got like disappointed by Arthur Soydom." And I was like, "Oh man, I'm a huge fan of your artwork, and I meant to bring my 2 volumes to get it signed. Will you be here tomorrow?" And he was just like, "Oh yeah, definitely, man." And he just seemed really cool. He did not seem full of himself. He was just really cool, and we talked for about 5-6 minutes about just comics. Whatever, and then my favorite arc from his series, and he was just telling me like a little story about where he gets inspiration from the panels from and stuff like that, and where he draws, what do you what was the grueling task of having to create these original characters for a big franchise, And we were just talking about that for a little bit, and I was like, "Well, you'll be here tomorrow, right?" And he was like, "Yeah, definitely, dude. Just bring your comics by, and yeah, I'll sign them, man, no problem." I was like, sweet. So I kind of took that as like, he'll do it for free, And I'm not the type of person that's going to sit there and sell it on eBay. Like, I cherish that shit,
Right.
So I came back the next day, and he was gone.
Oh.
I was like, no. He had already left by like 2 or 3, and I didn't get there till like 3:30.
Damn, that's like my Francis Mandapal moment.
Oh, yeah?
I bumped into him accidentally. Go to find him. They say he had to leave right away, and I was like, "Oh man!" Like, my only moment is just accidentally bumping into him.
Yeah. That's
like I never got a chance for him to sign my Flash comic book.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, that just happened to me yesterday with Joe Eisma. He does the artwork for Morning Glories from Image.
Yeah.
Sunday. He had actually left early Saturday evening when I went to go and check him out. He had already left by like 4 or 5, I think. And his booth was empty by the time we got there. So I took his little panel thing that had his name, but I forgot. I think. And then I shot him a tweet like, "Hey, I missed you. Is there any chance that you're going to be there Sunday?" And he's like, "No, I had to go home early. I actually left Sunday morning. But next time, man, definitely catch me next time." And I was like, "I will, and I'll totally stalk you."
Just tackle him the first second you.
So that's my Joe Eisma story.
And a touching one it was.
Yeah.
Well, we've enjoyed having you on the podcast. Really enjoy you taking the time out to reminisce, discuss comic convention related news. And you're still there?
No, yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, yeah.
All right, cool.
I'm just reveling in the afterglow of being on here.
Got that soul glow.
Yeah, the soul glow.
But yeah, be sure you should definitely join us again. You know, it's been fun having you on. You know, you added like a, I don't know, just like a certain insight, you know, and a different perspective than we normally have.
Yeah, I'm more the poor man's scrounging for comic books kind of guy.
Yeah. Well, we definitely need more of that.
And
So.
the 25-cent bin.
Yeah, the 25-cent bin, which I'm gonna do at the start of the year. We got a convention here at near USC.
Okay.
It's the Sci-Fi Comic Book Con, and they always got $1.75. It's 25 cents, 75 cent.
Nice.
Jump right in.
Go ahead.
I just jump right in and get whatever I can find.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, oh man, I remember those days. It's like looking for back issues. Like, oh, I need issue 375 of Uncanny X-Men. Let me flip through 300 comics to try and find it.
Yeah.
I know one year this dude was like, "Oh yeah, go ahead, put it on the ground. Sit there, look what you need to look for. Make sure you put everything back in the right order." I'm like, awesome.
Yeah. Right order. Sure.
Yeah, all right. You mean the order?
I just throw everything back in. I'm like, here you go, and then
Yeah,
You've
Look
got
over
my
there.
money. Deal with the mess.
Look out, radioactive man. Take
Yeah.
like I jump in the porn section. Just,
To the Fatmobile.
But no, it's been a pleasure having you on, man. Really appreciate you taking the time to come and join us for the show.
No, thank you. I like to probably have you guys on my podcast.
Oh yeah,
we'd
definitely,
love
man.
to.
Just let us know, and we'll make sure to refresh our router before we contact you.
And I'll make sure I get a better mic.
There we go. What's the name of your podcast before we let you go?
Nerds Against the World.
Nerds
Against the World. Listeners, check it out, because Prometheus said so.
And you have nerdsagainsttheworld.com or .wordpress.com?
.wordpress.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're slowly building.
Yeah.
Word.
Yeah.
The Geek 011. And you can follow at the Nerds Against the World group at Nerds versus World.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And, I'll go ahead and contact you for further information. That way we can just throw it all on the site.
Yeah, so if anybody goes on Twitter and they don't see my actual name, they just see, don't be alarmed. My other name is Carlos Spicy Wiener.
Well, with that mouthful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on, man.
Well, thank you for having me.
All right, no
thanks,
problem.
man.
Take care.
All right, thank you.
Boom.
Alrighty. Well, because we're just going to go ahead and end the show. Just a little bit of Wizard World talk. We unfortunately didn't get the weekend off that we had requested off back in January.
Yeah.
But we still made the best of it. I managed to interview Ivy Doom Kitty, the awesome ladies over at Anomaly Podcast, the guy behind StapleCon, which is happening in March. And then I met some guys, can't remember their names, but they're the guys that write and draw Evercross comic. I found out about them thanks to their friend Sandy, who is super awesome. Cosplayed as a zombie that got killed by a dinosaur, and also as Poison Ivy.
Yeah. And Prometheus is kind of crushing on her.
Yeah.
Did I say too much?
No, you didn't say enough.
But I'm not gonna lie. For for the little time that we were able to procure, we made a lot of it. We made a lot of the time that we had, which makes me happy that we made the most of the little time we had, but it makes me really upset at all the time we were robbed.
Yeah.
Because for all we got done, we probably... No, not even probably. We definitely would have gotten 3 times as much done
easily.
had we had the entire weekend off and to just focus on the Comic-Con.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucked. I mean, like, Sunday we had like an hour, rushing from work. But also, I want to say shout out to... We got to meet Kelly Nova of Weird Girls. Also, Mark. I don't remember what his last name is, but we'll call him Level Varmint.
Mark the Lovable Varmint.
Yeah, because that's his handle on YouTube. They're both of Weird Girls. Weird Girls. Weirdgirls.com.
Weird-girls.
Yeah. But you got to put the dash in there. He also... I guess he's the guy who...
You can't have weird girls without a dash of weird.
Can't have weird girls without the... Oh, that's a good one. Should pinch that slogan to him.
I'll let him know.
But yeah, Danny Danger is also one of the people from weirdgirls.com. Didn't get a chance to see her there.
I saw her a couple of times, but a bunch of other cool cosplayers, so we just made our rounds. We made the most of it. But yeah, shout outs to the Weird Girls crew. It was really great that they just surprisingly stopped by.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're the Punch in the Walls of Reality guys. Like, I'm Mark, by the way.
We're like, how do you know us?
Assassins. It's funny. The few people, everybody I meet, I like to judge people by their handshakes. And mine isn't too firm, but it's firm.
Yeah.
It's just to me, it's the right amount of firm. At least that's what I like to think. And my brother-in-law, we call him Crispy. Mm-hmm. Chris, that dude has a super firm handshake.
Yeah.
So his handshake is the shake that I use to judge all handshakes.
The benchmark of handshakes.
Because when he grips me, I already know that it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
So I grip as hard as I can back because I already know what to expect. We just sit there trade grins. Yeah, how you doing? How you doing, man? How's it going? And he won't let go until I let go. It's just son of a bitch. So I'm sitting there popping a vessel in my arm. But anyways... I met him, and my God, that was a firm handshake. That's all I gotta say. And I don't expect too much from ladies. I actually expect a more feminine thing, or I'll grab it from the side or whatever. Like, hey, how you doing? But Kelly Nova's also got a very firm hand. The very expensive.
Oh, I can't remember what her name is because you put me on the spot. I don't have a card, so I'm gonna move on to. I got to meet up with Jay House. I had met him at the Austin Nerd Cave, and he's been busy with some stuff. He does I forgot what it's called, but he does kind of high school portraits of DC and Marvel characters. Very awesome art, cool guy. I seriously want to have him on the podcast because it's everything he says. It sounds awesome because he's British, and he has his own podcast called the Surly Nerd Podcast. So if you want to check it out. To hear his soothing baritone. He's an awesome artist, really, really cool guy, really genuine guy. Also got to meet up with J. Anthony Hernandez. We had actually found out about him via Twitter at the time. He was doing a Kickstarter for his comic Super Crazy Animal Hand, and now they have the first issue. And I picked that one up. I haven't had a chance to read it yet. If you're not sold already, you should be, because it has a ninja in a wheelchair. And so, I don't know. Speaking of awesome artists and writers, also we got to see a little bit of Dan Price and Bonadami. I can't even speak anymore. Bonadame. And also Jennifer Cunningham, who was cosplaying as the Visible Woman.
Yes.
And
you can't miss her.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, literally you couldn't, because she was awesome. Personal favorite of mine.
Yeah.
But it kind of sucked. I really, almost all these people that I've mentioned, I would have loved to have interviewed them on the spot, but we were so strapped for time, I didn't even get that opportunity, and it really bummed me out. Going back to when you were talking about Mark and Kelly Nova, it didn't even occur to me, because, we had just barely gotten there, and still setting up, and all of a sudden, just, so much happened at that time.
Yeah, yeah.
And then also, shout-outs to Mike Alcantara. Also didn't get a chance to interview him, but we got to stop by, take a picture of his ginormous collage of Superman. and that was pretty amazing. And also saw the girls from the Anomaly podcast, and they're really swell. We met them last year. It was just really cool. Like, I just remember, I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to say this like as an ego trip, but being recognized because I don't know. Sometimes there's like people that I know. Like, not even from doing podcasts and stuff. It's like, you know who they are. They might even be like a coworker, and you look at them and you like, like you wave and you think they're waving at you, but they're waving at somebody else. It's like, how do you not know me? Like, So the fact that they recognize and they're like, oh yeah, hey, Punch the Walls reality. So it's cool. So I have an interview of them up. They're really awesome as well.
Yeah.
And also the Ghostbusters ATX fan group. They were there as well in costume, fighting Ghost because they ain't afraid. We met them also last year. They were nearby our fan table. And now that I'm almost out of breath, Chris and Chris of Overtime Comics. We met them. House comic, and I didn't know what their comic was called, but I'm glad that I made the mistake because they were really cool, really down to earth, and looking forward to reading their comic as well. So now that I said a mouthful. Back to you, Agamemnon.
I got a few. I picked up a good bit of art over the weekend, and I just wanted to give shout-outs to them. Nen, N-E-N, you can catch her. She's got crazy good art. You can catch her DeviantArt at Iscariotic, ISCARIOTIC.deviantart.com, or nen-nen-nen.tumblr. You can actually catch her on Facebook, .com/INCAPAX, or doughy-ncoyote.net. She's got a lot of websites, but her art is so incredible, man. It's just beautiful. Like, I don't know if you see this here.
I can see it.
I fell in love. I got a couple of pieces for around $30. But she had a lot of original art going for more than what I could afford, but, saving up a little bit here and there, I'm going to buy a few pieces. And I even told Hibiki, like, she was an instant fan when she saw it because she's got a couple of morbid pieces, but it's very beautiful art on some of her pieces, just to have them in my future home. I also want to give a shout-out to Jordan Gibson, who had a sick little Spike Spiegel print. So you can catch him at flavors.me/Jordan Gibson. Also, you can give a shout-out to the Shaolin Shadows Studios. Shaolin Shadow Studios, there we go. They have some really crazy good artwork as well. I was able to talk to those guys for a while. And you can also check them at thepostapocalypsereport.com. So go ahead and check those dudes out. They got really crazy good art. Lanho Comics. That was the dude from Colorado that was trying to sell his collection with the weird sob story.
Yeah, it was just funny. He had pretty much he has all these complete collections from probably the last 10 years, all X-Men,
Wildcats
DC.
to New Warriors.
Yeah, some Ex Machina, and he's like, "Come on, guys, buy my comics, please. My wife is going to divorce me."
Yeah,
and I'd be like, "Yeah." Then if she's making you sell your comics, you probably want to get rid of her anyway.
Yeah.
But no, he was really cool. I bought a bunch of Ex Machina. I never got to finish the series, and now I'm a step closer, even though I forgot to get issue 37. So if you're listening, don't sell issue 37 to anyone but me.
Who will make my son very happy come Christmas time because he had these dope-ass prints of the Ninja Turtles. So I bought 4 prints. One was each head of each turtle. Oops, what is going on here? Got a little ding coming on. Yeah, but he was selling the prints for $40 total. One's like $20, so to me it was pretty much a steal, and I loved the art, and I think my kid's gonna really get a kick out of it. I also wanted to give a shout out to Pinups for Pit Bulls, some very lovely ladies, very very lovely. But they were very cool, and their cause is I think is highly worthy, because. Not to get too preachy, but I feel like, and a lot of people out there do, that pit bulls get a really bad rap. And they are like any other animal that's not like wild. Any other domestic dog, they're beautiful, they're lovable, they're gentle, and they're just overall great animals and companions to have in your life. We have 2 ourselves, and they're high energy than maybe we would like them to be, because we're pretty low energy people. But they're incredible animals. Media, California had that whole law pass where you can't own a pit bull.
Oh wow!
Or I don't know if that actually passed, but I remember that was a big thing of debate for a good while. But they get a bad rap, and even our neighbor on our right side of the house, we're living with our in-laws right now. They're always saying, "Oh, your dog's gonna bite me." It's like he'll probably lick you to death, like literally, before he ever fucking bites you. And their cause, that's what their cause is. They had a whole folder for anybody interested, and they had tons of copies, different copies of how to not only how to care for pit bulls, but dispelling all the things. And the reason why pit bulls are angry or vicious is because of the owners.
Yeah.
Hate isn't born. Hate isn't born, it's created. You're not born racist. You're not born a hateful person.
You're not born part of the dark side.
You're not born part of the dark side. You owe into it, And pit bulls are beautiful animals. So please check out Pinups for Pit Bulls. I believe they have a Facebook page you can check out. Just go ahead and type it in.
Were they the girls that were in the corsets?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Like they had the whole 1950s decor going on, and even the guy that was there, he looked really like what do you call it, James Deanish.
I see.
So it was really cool. I love big fan of the 50s look, and I think it's very classic, very sexy, and it's a great cause. They're doing is incredible. So please go, if you love pit bulls and if you love pinups, 2 birds with 1 stone. The 2 birds have to die, but another pit bull gets to live, and another pinup's bosom is very happy.
And birds suck anyway. So.
Also, Defects comic. We met those guys from Overtime Studios, right?
Okay, yeah.
Overtime Comics.
Yeah, those are that's the Chris and Chris.
They had a really crazy good pitch. I'm sold. And I think you picked up an issue, or we didn't. We fell off the ball on that one.
Yes.
But those are crazy good guys. Check them out at holy crap, that is super tiny print. I can't even read it. bit.ly/QEANWV. We'll
I think you can just go to overtimecomics.com.
Yeah.
And that
website address is case sensitive, so
yeah,
we'll go ahead and post it on here as you're listening. You can click on it. They have really great comics.
Yeah, I was gonna say their card had a link to be able to go and read the comics.
Yeah, it had the little square symbol on there that you just take a picture of and go to it. Also, as always, check out Hound Comics for
Butterwinks cookies.
Butterwinks cookies. And you can also catch some of the guys from Masters of the Obvious.
And Brimstone.
Brimstone.
Last
but not least,
that you were saying before, I'll just slip this one in there. Display Iffy or Displayify.
Displayify, yeah.
Yeah, that's one. They have really nice displays. They're way out of our price range, though.
They're out of our price range. They might not be out of yours, but it was a super cool gal that came and approached
she was
us.
Really awesome.
And my God, that was probably the firmest handshake I had felt from the con all day. So
Still have bruises. In your
that
hand.
woman has met some powerful people. That's all I
Yeah.
can tell you. So she is she means business. So
she crushes coal into diamonds. I saw.
There
it.
you go. So definitely go check out Displayify. They have a small Facebook page, but their website is way more insightful. So go ahead and check that out. But last but not least, they were kind of a late addition because they were telling me the story that they were at the con Saturday and they were like, "Hey, we got to get a booth here." So it's pretty easy to get a booth at the con, even as late as they did. So they were able to procure one, I guess, for Sunday, and they just started selling apparel. And I bought this dope that I'm wearing right now, Bill fucking Murray t-shirt.
As you can all see, Bill Murray sitting there with a scowl and a grimace.
I saw the print from a good few meters away, and I was like, ooh, what is this? And Habiki's like, do you want it? It's like, I do. So we went up to them. guy who I found out his name is Scott, who's the CEO and visionary of Mind's Eye Creative. $15, and then his female partner, who's the creative director of Mind's Eye, Vanessa, said, "Oh, but for $25, just buy the T-shirt, which that's how much the T-shirt costs.
Yeah.
And we'll throw in the print for free."
Oh.
So I was like, done. I not only got a Bill fucking Murray T-shirt, but I got the Bill fucking Murray print too.
He'll be proud of you.
They were very cool people, man, and they were literally going over each other's bodies, like trying to outsell the other. Like, I'm a better salesman than you. Like, and they're just a rapport with each other. Like, I was sold. I was like completely smitten with them.
May the force be with you. That is hot.
It was. They were really cool people, and they do designs. They got a print shop, apparel line. They make buttons, stickers, postcards. They run the gamut. Just incredibly talented people. All the stuff they had there was good, was great. But nothing's gonna top a Bill Murray shirt for me. So, yeah, this is probably one of the cooler things that I got at the convention that weekend. But yeah, Mind's Eye Entertainment, MINDZAI Creative. They're actually, and I don't think they actually have a website just yet, but you can check them out at mindseye.net, the same spelling as I said before. They're really cool, man, and they're willing to work with you for reasonable prices. And just because I thought they were so cool, I'm even going to go ahead and plug their little event that they're throwing. At December 6th, they have this event called Occult Takeover, presented by Triple Count Tattoo Parlor and A Million Tattoo. And it's just going to be just a plethora of local artists and stuff selling artwork. And it's going to be a really cool, nifty art show. You're going to be able to buy some really cool original artwork for pretty affordable prices. And it's hosted by Mind's Eye. So you can check that out on December 6th from 8 to 11 at 2001 D South Lamar and the 04 area code.
04.
Free parking at Custom Sounds. So
okay, I know where that is now.
Yeah. So everybody knows where the fuck Custom Sounds is.
Been around for like forever.
And refreshments provided by the Hipster Beer.
Oh, PBR.
PBR.
Oh.
So there you go.
Worth every dollar of the dollar it costs.
Yeah, but those dudes were probably the coolest people we met, next to Lovable Varmint and Kelly Nova. So it's kind of a tie. Yeah, it was just me and Hibiki that met them. So, but yeah, they're really cool people, and I think I see ourselves doing business with them in the future. They seem very reliable and just very like, hey, yeah, we'll do this on the spot for you. Mm-hmm. So they really like cool people that are willing to work with you and whatever kind of business you're trying to make. Yeah. So, yeah, I was sold.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to that event.
Yeah, definitely check it out. December 6th, 8 to 11, off of South Lamar next to Custom Sound. So, Occult Takeover. Check it out.
You will be taken over. Well, we just got to have one more shout-out before we end this podcast.
Yeah.
Shout-out to our buddy, contributor, Marvel fanatic, the Iceman, Luis, who's turning 27 today.
Yeah. Happy birthday,
man.
Luis.
I hope your birthday is cool. If we ever meet him, we got to make him like an Iceman cake.
Yeah, definitely. Or just put ice on it.
With extra icing.
Oh. Get him an icy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Get him a block of ice.
And a cup.
To put the ice in.
Yeah.
And then put ice water in there, and he can drink it and be refreshed.
And an iced coffee. And
take him to the Phil's Ice House.
Yeah. There you go.
For some ice cream.
The ice house. For ice cream. Jesus Christ. You're on a roll.
This is Prometheus.
Yeah. This is Agamemnon.
And this has been Straight
Outta Austin.
Bobby Beetleless edition.
Yeah.
Freddy's not here, just in case you guys didn't notice.